verklaren beloofd.
Now, there are two ways you can become a Dutch citizen. If you were married to a Dutch citizen, you can keep your original citizenship. How much people don't know about passport privilege. This video is going to tell you everything about how to get this. Welcome back to my channel. This is Rashi, and today we're going to talk all about the Dutch naturalization process. Now, if you've clicked on this video, you're either thinking of getting the Dutch passport or you're in the process, or you just want to know more about this process. So today I'm just going to go through my experience and the process I had step by step through the process and all the information you need to know to get the Dutch citizenship. Now, there are two ways you can become a Dutch citizen. One is through option and one is through naturalization. Naturalization is the most common method because that's for anyone who's lived here for the required amount of time. Option method is for people previously had the Dutch citizenship and lost it or were born in the Netherlands. I'll leave a link below to the more information on that, but I don't know much about that because that was not my process. So in this video, we're going to talk about the naturalization process. So let's quickly go through the requirements of applying for the Dutch citizenship. Now, once you've decided you want the Dutch citizenship, there are timelines for that. You can apply for the Dutch citizenship if you've lived in the Netherlands for 5 years consecutively and legally. There's one exception to this. If you're married to a Dutch citizen, you can then apply for the citizenship in 3 years. The other requirement is at the time of applying for the citizenship, your permit, whether it's a residence permit, dependent permit, it has to be valid for another year on the date of application. So say you have a residence permit for 5 years and you want to apply for the Dutch citizenship immediately after 5 years, you will have to renew your permit and then apply. And the last requirement is you need to pass the integration exam and have the inburgering certificate with you. Now, once you have all the documents, you can apply for the citizenship. And this is the process step by step from my experience. So once you have finished the number of years you are required to live here, you can make a phone call to the gemeente and make an appointment for naturalization process. When I finished my number of years of living here and I wanted to apply for this, there was a waiting time for 6 months for this appointment. So you need to plan ahead. So I wanted to apply in August and I called them in August and they told me the first available appointment date is in February, which really was very disheartening because I didn't want to wait 6 months just to apply. So plan ahead, and you're coming up to the end of the number of years you have to live here, maybe call a few months ahead already to get that appointment. Now, what I did was I called every week, at least twice a week, to the gemeente to ask if they had a cancellation. And after, I think, 4 or 5 times of calling every week, they had a cancellation and I did get an appointment in August like I wanted. So yeah, that's a trick you could use, but just plan ahead and you should be fine. Now, online it says that you need 2 appointments. So first is for them to just check your documents and the second one is to actually apply. But if your documents are all in order, you can just apply in the first appointment, because then when you go for your first appointment, the second appointment might not be available again for a few months. So make sure you have every document that you need. I will go through some of the documents that you need in this video, but of course, based on your situation, there might be something extra. So do look that up. I will leave a link below also to all the documents required that is stated on the IND website. You need the original valid passport from your current nationality. You need a birth certificate from your current country. And for India, you need to have the birth certificate attested in India, which I also needed to move here. So I already had that. But if you don't have that, you need to have it attested. And if your birth certificate is in another language, you need to have it translated and I think notarized also in the Netherlands, but Indian birth certificate is in English as well, so I didn't have to do that. You also need to show that you have a valid residence permit at the moment of application, so you need to take that with you as well. Your inburgering certificate, so the fact that you finished the integration exam, and you need some money. The naturalization process does cost money, so At the time of application, you will be asked to pay the fees for the application. And I paid 960 euros, but I just checked and now it's increased up to 1,230 euros. So that's the fees you have to pay during your application. So these are all the things you need at the time of application. And while you're at the appointment at the Gemeente worker will fill up the application with you. So they will ask you questions and they will fill up your form. They already have a lot of information about you through your BSN numbers. So this was a very smooth process. It hardly took like 15 minutes to do the whole application. Because all my documents were in place and nothing was incomplete, she went ahead and applied my application already in the first interview. This application I did was on the 12th of August, 2022. And after this application, it is a waiting game. You just have to wait it out and wait for IND to send you a letter. They also send it digitally to your Mijn Overheid inbox, so keep a close eye on that. And it can take anywhere from 6 months to a year for IND to give you a decision. I got my results from the IND on the 12th of February 2023, so almost exactly 6 months. And this is basically IND sending you a letter saying whether your decision was negative or positive. If it's negative, you can actually appeal the decision. I will leave a link below also for that, but I didn't experience that, so I don't know much. But I think there is something you can do if the result is negative. But I received a letter that the result is positive, and now I had to wait for the king to sign the decree. So basically, IND sending you a message that the decision was positive does not make you a Dutch citizen yet. You only become a Dutch citizen when the king signs your royal decree of the Dutch citizenship. When I received this message on the 12th of February, I was walking through the canals in Amsterdam and I saw this email pop up and I immediately opened it. And I can't tell you the feeling I felt. I felt like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. I felt I can finally live in this beautiful country and city. It was such an amazing experience to read this while walking through one of the prettiest areas of Amsterdam. And I just felt like this city is now mine. This is now my city and my country, and I belong here. And I have to tell you, it was an amazing feeling. But from this day on, there was still 6 months to go for this whole process to end. So let's move on with that. So once I received this message, I had to just wait for another IND letter to say the king has now signed the letter, which I received on the 29th of March, 2023. So a little over a month later. And in that letter, they also tell you the next steps. The next step is the ceremony. A lot of municipalities are too small, so they don't have like physical ceremonies. My friend applied for the citizenship in Hoofddorp and she did not have a ceremony that she had to attend. She just had to sign a letter and send it through post. But I think if you are in a bigger municipality like The Hague or Amsterdam, then you have to visit a ceremony physically. The letter that I received that the king has now signed the decree, it asked me to wait for the letter that will tell me when the ceremony is going to be. This is very dependent on how many people are applying for the citizenship, and it can take a while before they give you a ceremony date. So I received a letter on the 2nd of June 2023 telling me my ceremony is going to be on the 10th of July 2023. So it was almost 2 months later that I received the letter of when my ceremony is going to be, and the ceremony was a month later. So from the king signing the letter that I'm now Dutch, it was 3 months later that I actually attended the ceremony. I told you, this is a waiting game. You better have patience if you want to become Dutch. So during this time, all you have to do is wait and keep an eye on your mail or your Mijn Overheid inbox, and that's all you can do basically. And on 10th of July, I went to the ceremony. I made an entire short about the whole ceremony and my experience, which I will link it here. I wore my sunflower dress as an homage to Van Gogh, and it was quite a cool experience, I have to say. The ceremony was at the Amstel Stadsloket, and you are with all of these other people who are becoming Dutch that day, and they basically sit you in this big room and they show you a video about Amsterdam, because you know, I'm an Amsterdammer now. Yeah, and the whole video was about Amsterdam is for iedereen. Everybody is welcome. Amsterdam is for everyone. I don't know, like it was a very emotional moment for me. And my friend joined me, so you can bring a +1 to the ceremony, but they don't sit with you. And my friend was also filming, and it's just everybody, you see so many people there who are just so happy and joyous, and it was really a very cool experience. And then wait for your turn when they call out your name. And when they call out your name, you have to go to the center of the stage and you have to take that document and say, yeah, so you have to practice that sentence. You have to say that in front of a lot of people. And then you take your document and they take a photo of you. And then you go sit down and wait for all the other people's names to be called out. And then after the ceremony, you can actually get that photo. They took of you immediately for free, which I'm sorry. I was very surprised that something was gratis. The Dutch were giving me something gratis. That was cool. So I just had to get up and get the photo to show you. So this is the photo they took. This is my sunflower dress and the document. This is the photo that you get after for gratis. You know you're Dutch because you're excited about something gratis. And then they have a little borrel after. My friend brought some flowers and we took a lot of pictures inside the gemeente, outside the gemeente. We were filming a lot because, I don't know, I was just so excited. It really meant true freedom for me, and I couldn't believe that I just did this, and it seemed like such a big daunting task, and once it's done, I'm telling you, the feeling is unparalleled.
Doe het Nederlands.
Doe de Nederlands.
De Nederlander.
Ik ben Nederlander. Vrijheid voor mij. You can see, like, I'm so excited, happy. My friend also bought some Prosecco, which we popped outside, and then we went for a little nice brunch. And then I had a party later where I invited all my friends to celebrate with me. Friends gave me like really like Dutch themed presents, and my friend also brought me some sunflowers. So I would really recommend, like, make a day of it, celebrate with people. You've done something, it takes a lot of patience, a lot of time, a lot of effort, which some people just get it if they're born here. So I think you should celebrate yourself. And it was quite an amazing day. But the work is not done yet. So once the ceremony is over, you still don't have the passport. All you have is this document, and which is basically something you need to then apply for your first passport. They said that you can go to the gemeente without an appointment and just apply for the passport 5 days later. I just went 2 days later and they took my application. So maybe just try it already, and if you don't want to wait for 5 days, you will need a passport photo. So I went to a local passport place to just get a passport photo, and basically all you need is that photo and this bekendmaking document to then apply for the passport at the gemeente. When you apply for the passport, it is sadly not free either. So I paid 95 euros for the passport, which I just checked, and now it's increased to 117 euros. That's something you will have to pay while you're applying to get the passport. Once you apply for the passport, it takes kind of like around 5 days for them to give you the passport. Ask them, when would you know if it's ready? To go through my timeline again, I made the first application on the 12th of August 2022. Received the positive IND result on the 12th of February 2023. I got another message from IND that the king has signed my letter on 29th March 2023. I received the letter stating when my ceremony is going to be on 2nd of June 2023. Just a reminder that this process is very different based on your municipality. If you don't have to attend a physical ceremony, this can be much sooner because all you have to do is sign something. And then my actual ceremony was on the 10th of July 2023. And the day I actually received the physical passport in my hand was 19th July 2023. And that finishes the whole process of naturalization. Now, there's something you do have to take care of after this whole process. So if you were married to a Dutch citizen, you can keep your original citizenship only if your country also allows dual citizenship. So say if you're a US citizen and you marry a Dutch citizen and that's how you're getting the Dutch citizenship, you can keep your US citizenship and the Dutch citizenship. But if you are Indian and you marry a Dutch citizen, you can't keep your Indian citizenship because India doesn't allow dual citizenship. I will leave a link below all about renunciating your citizenship. For some countries, this is very important because Netherlands can actually take away your citizenship if you don't do the renunciation on time. For India, that's not the case because India itself doesn't allow this dual citizenship. So once you become Dutch citizen, you're kind of automatically not an Indian anymore. So the Dutch government doesn't care about you renouncing your citizenship, but the Indian government cares, if that makes sense. So once I was done with the Dutch citizenship process, I immediately went to do the whole process for the renunciation of Indian citizenship. I'm gonna make a whole video about that process because that process was, again, quite a lot. So it was still not over for me yet, but if you're from a different country with different rules and everything, it might be over for you here, but for me it wasn't. People ask me, how did you decide to give up the Indian passport and get the Dutch nationality? Because a lot of people were not so nice about why would you leave your Indian citizenship, or you're not Indian anymore. And to me, I'm sorry, my identity is not based on a piece of paper that was made by men. I want my life to be easy. I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to live in the Netherlands independent of anyone. But there's also another reason why it was quite an easy decision, because India has something called the OCI. OCI stands for Overseas Citizen of India. It's basically almost like a passport, and you become a citizen of India overseas, and you basically have every rights as an Indian citizen would, except that you cannot vote in India and you cannot own agricultural land in India. So this is what it looks like. This is the Overseas Citizen of India card. And with this, I can travel to India, live there, work there, and I don't have to worry about anything. So after I renounced my citizenship from India, I applied for the OCI. And now actually I am a Dutch citizen, but also an Overseas Citizen of India. Dutch passport ranks number 3 in the world. You can travel to 125 countries visa-free, 44 countries with visa on arrival. That makes life so much more easier, and also you can live and travel and work in the EU free of worry, hassle, renewals of visa, all of that stuff. And actually, after moving to the Netherlands, I realized how much people don't know about passport privilege, and how just based on where your passport is from, how much privilege you're awarded, not just with traveling, but also moving countries and migrating to different countries, working there, all of that. I kid you not, the minute the lady at the counter gave me the passport, I felt like she transferred some of her privilege to me. I was just like, I leveled up in life. I don't know. It was just the immense sense of freedom and the privileges that come from a stronger passport, which I think is absolutely crazy that a piece of paper that was man-made can dictate so much of what you do with your life. But that is the reality, and I don't want it to be this way, but it is, you know? So yeah, I almost wanted to cry. I was hugging my friend, and I think the Gemeente lady was also like, oh, that is so sweet. Like, I think a lot of Dutch people, when they see how excited I got, they kind of reassessed how much privilege they have, which is something they didn't even have to work for. So I wanted to not have that in the back of my brain, to always be dependent on someone to live in a country that I was integrating to and was planning to live on for a really long time. And there are a lot of other benefits, like searching for a job that sponsors your visa is really, really tough in the Netherlands. So if you, say, lose your job with the company that sponsored your visa, but you have the Dutch citizenship, you could just apply to so many more jobs. And it also depends on what your long-term plans are. Are you planning to live here for a longer period of time? Then I would really recommend going through the process just for a peace of mind and security. This is Editing Rashi, and I totally forgot to end the video. So I hope all this information helped, and leave any questions you have on the bottom, and subscribe for more information on everything Dutch and living in the Netherlands. And let me know if you want me to make a video all about getting the OCI and renouncing your citizenship if you are Indian, if that would be something you're interested in. So like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye! alternatives that if you're if whether your decision was negative or but as a free person as much as I and it was such a so, so say